Welcome back to another instant reaction to Miami Hurricanes football. Unfortunately, the Miami Hurricanes lose its regular season finale 41 to 38 to the Syracuse Orange. The loss eliminates Miami from the ACC championship game and possibly the playoff. We'll talk about the game for a second. In a second, but Cass Casz Clayton, by the way, joining me as always. What is your opinion on this season? Do you feel like this season is a failure because they failed to reach their goal of the ACC championship game?
The goal was a championship, right? We broke records, we won games. That was cool. But the goal was to win the ACC championship. The goal was to get there and win. Um, Kim Ward definitely honed on that.
Yeah,
That was like the main thing he wanted to do. He didn't care about the awards that he was getting.
right.
Mario made it clear, like 1-0, 1-0. It was 1-0 until the ACC championship. So to answer your question, yes, I feel like it is a failure.
Mm,
As far as winning the ACC, I mean, going to the ACC championship, first of all, um, this game shouldn't have been the way, it shouldn't have went the way it did
yeah,
throughout the season. Like, if we go back through all the games, it was just, I would say yes.
yeah, yeah. I would agree with you just because the goal was to get to the ACC championship game.
If
This
this,
team,
if any year, it would have been this year. If any
right?
year, it would have been this year.
Especially when you got Cam Ward, probably the best quarterback ever to put on the orange and green, and you basically fumble the opportunity of a first round, maybe first overall draft pick in Cam Ward. You don't take advantage of that type of talent in this season. And I put a lot of blame on this defense. I don't think this was a game that Cam Ward really lost for Miami. Turnovers, yeah, they're going to happen in the game, but Miami had an opportunity, even at the end of the game, to just stop Syracuse from getting the first down, and they failed to do that. All game, they couldn't stop Syracuse's passing game. I think they had 8 plays of over 20 yards, all converted for first downs, including a 50-yarder. So yeah, I agree with you that that part of this season is a failure for sure. But when you look back at the last 2 years, they went 5-7, 7-5, and now they're at 10 wins. Potentially, it could get 11. So when you look at it from that perspective, I think the season was successful. They just fell short of their ultimate goal, which was to get to the ACC championship game. Unfortunately, you know. But
Now I can piggyback on that. As far as the success, yes, this has the most successful they've been since 2017.
yeah,
But are we gonna next? Are we gonna say, oh, this is the most successful they've been since 2024?
right,
You know,
right.
it's just one of those things. Like, yes, don't get me wrong, it's been a great season. It's been great. The games, they were great, but like I said, if it was the season to make it to an ACC championship, it would have been this year, and they fell short of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with all the money that they spent in NIL and all the
The
transfers that they
transfer
bring in.
portal,
Yeah, the players like Tyler Barron that they, basically sold the house for, and like Simeon Barrow, they brought in Mish Powell, Damian Martinez, all these players they brought in. You would think this is a team good enough to make it to the ACC championship game, and they didn't. Say what you want, but they did fall short of expectations. And yeah, this is a team that's been mediocre for the past few years, except for that one 2017 season. But yeah, this is a team that basically fell short of expectations, and I think a lot of it has to do with this defense that couldn't stop anybody. Pretty much in conference play. So
you,
it
you know me, Benjamin, and I say all the time, defense wins championship.
Right.
And I said already, like this defense this year could not have pulled it off. So surprisingly for them to make it, I mean, they still have a chance in the playoffs. And since SMU win, um, it's still a chance. But at the same time, like this is not the way. But defensively, how much they were exposed early on,
Yeah.
but how far can you get with the defense like Miami has?
Right, exactly. So let's talk about this game, man. Let's break it down. I mean, let's go straight to that fourth down call towards the end. Miami had a chance to tie the game with a touchdown. They were in the red zone and they decided to kick a field goal on fourth down instead of go for it.
Now,
And
why would you think Mario would choose uh Borey Gallis to get that field goal over a touchdown, that fourth and goal?
I think in my mind, I think he was thinking back at that Georgia Tech game and he was thinking, oh, I don't want to leave points on the board like I did in that game. But this to me was a different scenario. I mean, this was like you had the score. They were down by a touchdown and they couldn't stop Syracuse all game. What makes you think
It
that
makes
you're we're going to be able to stop Syracuse in the most critical moment of this game? I think they had to, just let the chips fall with where they may with that fourth down and just let Cam make magic, man, and see what happens. I would have been fine to die there instead of putting it in the hands of the defense. Why would you put it in the hands of a
they have
defense
not
that
been coming through
hasn't
all
shown you
game.
all game or in conference play all the way through? The only team that they were able to shut down, well, two teams they were able to shut down in conference play was Wake Forest and Florida State, and those teams are anemic offensively.
Benjamin,
So
you took the words right out of my mouth.
yeah, so
Seriously.
yeah, I just don't understand it. I think he was thinking about that Georgia Tech game where he left points on the board and he was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna let Borg Alice out there and hopefully give a chance back to Cam Ward. Obviously, he never saw the ball again. And I don't think we see Cam Ward again in a Miami Hurricanes uniform, to be honest. I don't think he plays in the bowl game. I think that was our last game that we saw of Cam Ward. And
Very
it's
possible.
sad because I don't think we all thought it was just going to end right here. I thought we were going to see playoff Cam really, show us what he can do in the postseason. But unfortunately, we don't get to see that because the defense just could not stop Syracuse.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like I said, you took the words out of my mouth, man. Like that was that play to make. That was that Heisman. That was that fourth and goal. That was that play.
Yep.
Mario didn't make the call.
Yeah.
So shoulda, coulda, woulda. It's
Yeah.
over now. But I think that fourth and goal definitely. But prior to that, there were things that happened. That Jacoby George call definitely hurt them
Yeah.
a lot. That
Yeah.
was uncalled for, unnecessary penalties, small things like that. That just
Sure.
hurt them. And to be honest, it did seem like the refs were on their side. A lot of reviews and a lot of replays that were not being called for
Yeah.
Miami. Um, they keep that in mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't do things. You can't do little things like that to hurt your team in those moments. So yeah, man. Between the penalties, the play calls, it was just unfortunate.
Yeah, I agree with you on the penalties. That big run by Damian Martinez was called
Call
back
back.
by a
That
hold.
hurt.
That was a terrible call. I thought one of the calls on OJ was really ticky tack as well. I felt like they really went after OJ in every respect. I mean, like OJ was trying to hold his own, but we got to remember he is still a freshman. He's still learning. Some of these guys are really crafty veterans when it comes to
This was OJ's probably I would say his biggest collegiate game thus far.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. But overall, the DBs weren't good enough. Daryl Porter gave up two touchdowns
So
in
many.
this game in the end zone. Um,
Amari.
And I mean, Zaquan Patterson got hurdled over, so does OJ gets hurdled over. I mean, Jaden Harris missed a couple of plays. This was just this defensive backfield has to be addressed. I mean, yeah, this recruiting class they got a ton of great guys coming in,
Hmm.
but I think they probably need some portal guys as well to up this defensive backfield
Absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
it just hasn't been good enough first and foremost. And I think we have to talk about one of the key plays in this game. We love X to death, but him fumbling in this game and having that ball returned for a touchdown was critical
That
in this
hurt the
game.
momentum, definitely.
Yeah, really critical in this game. Obviously, Miami loses by 4, and that touchdown essentially is the difference in the game. It's unfortunate because he's had a great career, a historic record-breaking career, but that moment really kind of, I think, put
That's a
Miami
hunting
behind the
moment
eight
for
ball.
X. That would be a hunting moment for X. X is going to definitely think about that fumble for a long time, for a very
Yeah,
long time. I
yeah,
know X, and yeah, I'm sure that will hunt him seriously. But you're right about that. Definitely changed the momentum. That changed everything in that game. That fumble.
yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, this game couldn't have started any better for the Miami Hurricanes. They started off 21-0. Where I'm from, that's when you pass the sticks in Madden, and I thought it was pretty much going to be not smooth sailing, but I thought they would just keep the
I don't
gap.
know why you thought that, Benjamin.
I thought no, I said
We're
I didn't
talking
think.
about Miami Hurricanes here.
I know I
You
didn't think it
know
was
what
going
we're
to be
working with defensively. Why did you
right.
think that?
I just thought they would keep scoring. I thought Miami would keep scoring and just kind of keep that margin, but yay, it
Look,
didn't
look at the
happen.
unanswered points after that, though. After that 21-0 lead.
Yeah. So this was then just back and forth to me, like for the most of this game after they caught up and made it 21 up. And you kind of felt like, okay, the team with the ball last was going to win this game. And that's basically what happened. And we gave the ball to Syracuse after the field goal, and
It's
they
over.
ended up winning the game and dashing Miami's hopes for an ACC championship. And now we just kind of await to see what bowl game they will go to after next Saturday. So no
But
Charlotte,
Benjamin,
no Charlotte
no
for us.
Charlotte. Yeah, no Charlotte for us. But Benjamin, I do have a question because it's a lot of talk about Coach Lance Guidry and where he stands as the defensive coordinator for the Canes. A
Yeah,
lot of people are saying that he needs to go. What do you think? What are you thinking?
yeah.
What's your
I mean,
perspective on that?
I don't necessarily put all the blame on Lance Guidry. I think a lot of it is just inexperience and lack of talent in that defensive backfield. I think Kiko had some bad games this season. He had a pretty good last couple of games. But this pass rush wasn't really a vaunted pass rush. I don't think you can really blame that on Lance Guidry. I would have liked to see him maybe blitz a little bit more, disguise a little bit more when it comes
More
to
pressure,
blitzing.
right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just because you're not getting any pressure with 4, so you might as well bring an extra guy. You saw that in the last game, and it worked wonderfully.
Worked.
I
Mm-hmm.
didn't I didn't see so much in this game or some of the other games. So when it comes to that, yeah, I think Gidry does deserve some of that blame. But I think most of the blame needs to be on the players. They're the ones on the field and they execute. I doubt another defensive coordinator would have made this defense so much better. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean
No, I totally understand. Yeah.
that's my perspective on it. But at the same time, do I think there needs to be a change? I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to be like, oh, there needs to be a change. But I wouldn't be totally mad if there was one, because sometimes you just need to shake up the coaching, dynamic to really kind of get change. So, what say you on Gidry?
I meant the same thing with you as far as firing. It's not completely Gildry's fault. From the beginning, I said this before the season even started. That was a worry for me. The secondary was definitely a worry for me from the beginning, and then having Damari go out early, that hurt too.
Yeah,
He's power coming in, he's experienced, but I mean, just the secondary in itself, it always been something that was a worry for me from the beginning. But it was working out for them at the beginning of the season because they
yeah,
were winning. Eventually, uh, you get exposed.
exactly.
And that's exactly what happened. But it's always been a word for me from the beginning. And now it's just, I feel like it's just coming up to a lot because of now they're, they lost 2 games now. Um, but it's just always been a thing for me. From the beginning, I would see it in practices. I would see it. The depth was always a question. The play, the experience, the development, all of it was questioning for me.
Yeah.
But what can you do? It's not all Guidry. It's not all Guidry.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see if he stays. We'll see if Shannon Dawson stays too, because I
I'm
hear
here to stay.
there's a lot of teams that want Shannon Dawson as their coach. I think maybe even UCF, who now doesn't have a head coach because Gus Malzahn resigned and will be the OC
Saw
at
that for
FSU.
Florida State.
Right. I think that's a team school that I think might ask Shannon Dawson to take over. I could see that happening. I'm not gonna lie. So, a
He's been
lot.
interviewing for the position, from what I'm
Yeah,
hearing. So
yeah,
it's very possible.
yeah. Definitely. We'll see how much of this coaching staff, stays. I don't believe, the lack of production from this defensive backfield is on so much on Lance Guidry or on Chevis Jackson. I think it's just on the players. I think they just need to acquire better talent, And I think, some of these guys are super young. Zaquan, OJ, they're super young. They're talented, but they're young. They're inexperienced. So, if they just need to recruit some more guys like that, bring in some guys, that needs to be the highest priority, I think, in the portal is defensive back. You gotta be able to recruit some guys either via the portal or in recruiting to help this defensive backfield because we knew this was the issue at the beginning of the season and it continued to be an issue for the entire season up until the end of the regular season. So even if this team made the playoffs, I don't think this team would go far. Not with this defense. I mean, it's been an entertaining season for sure. Probably the
Very,
most entertaining team in college football was the Miami Hurricanes because you had Cam Ward putting up a bunch of points, but then you had that defense, giving up a bunch of points too, which made games exciting. So it's been an exciting season, but it's unfortunate how it ended.
very. I
Yeah,
agree. I had a lot of fun. These have been fun.
yeah,
And it has been an exciting season. I just hate that it had to go out that way as well.
yeah.
But I mean, would you rather that, or would you rather get to SMU and it's a shootout, but defense isn't holding? Like, what would you have rather?
I would rather go to the ACC championship game just to go,
And
and then we probably lose the same way. To be honest, it'd probably be just like this Syracuse game where it'd be a shootout and some turnover is critical, and they don't have the ball in the last possession. So I think it would have been the same type of ending to be honest in the ACC championship game, but at least it would have been an appearance.
we got to end this on a good note, Benjamin.
Okay. Like I said, I think this is still a successful season, because double digit wins first time since 2017. And then you have a chance to get 11 wins as well. And, I think other players from other schools and other recruits are going to see that this program is building. This program is obviously building. And I think 10 wins right now is the standard for this team from now on. I think this fan base doesn't even accept less than 10 wins, nor should it because, it's Miami. So I think they're at a level where they can say, okay, we're at a standard right now. We just need you to take us over the top when they're talking to a recruit or they're talking to a player that they want in the portal. So I think good things are to come. The thing that sucks though is that you're gonna have to do it without Cam Ward next season. So you're gonna have to find a Cam Ward clone to help with this team. Um, because I'm not so sure about the quarterbacks on the roster if they're quite ready to lead the Hurricanes to the promised land yet.
Active. That portal is going to be very active. But
Yeah,
with Miami and Coach Mario as the head coach, he's going to do what he does best.
yeah,
And I think he has enough ammo to do it. These wins were enough ammo to get what he needs. So
yeah,
I agree.
for sure. For sure, for sure. Any other positive? I know you're more positive than I am. So any more positive
I
anecdotes you
mean,
want to drop?
this was the history making. I mean, a lot of records were broken. I got to
Yeah,
see the last the last season that I fully covered was 2017. I like to compare and contrast the two, but this season was so much fun.
yeah,
The
yeah, it
fans
was.
were the fans. They came through, even away games. It was fun
Yeah,
covering those as well. Seeing Xavier just get to the pinnacle of his career and break so many records throughout all the trials and tribulations that he's been through. So seeing him succeed, that was amazing to see. Having Ken Ward, one of the probably the best quarterback the Hurricanes have had. Uh, just performed the way he did. And it's just been an amazing ride. It has been
yeah,
super duper fun covering Miami Hurricanes.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean, I think the Hurricane fans, they also have been fun. But they're going to be a lot of crying, but you hate them, you love them. It's all love. So it's been fun.
yeah. Absolutely. I think you did a nice job. Putting a bow on this instant reaction. We got one more instant reaction for you guys
We
after the
do.
bowl game.
We
We'll
do.
see what happens there. I'm pretty sure Cass and I will be going to that bowl game and doing that instant reaction on location. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of the instant reaction to Miami Hurricanes losing to Syracuse 42-38. Until the next time.